What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today, I want to talk to you about SoFi. Pretty epic day so far. I want to give you an overview of some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently, it is up 4.49%. A lot of optimism in the broader market as a result of Powell. So people still trying to digest what he said yesterday. Yields are falling as well. A lot of good kick-ass earnings from this morning, one of which is Palantir. So a lot of optimism. 12.67 million shares being traded. 46 is the average. At the time doing this video, there was no news today itself, but there was news yesterday, and that was this. So SoFi checking and savings studies show that this generation spends $1,500 on holiday shopping. Regardless of what is said, I don't think that's relevant or anything important. But technically, it does signal SoFi's transition business-wise to more personal loans, credit cards, rather than student debt. And that was very resemblant based on the Q3 earnings. So I think that's definitely a good move for SoFi bigger picture. And plus, analysts seem to absolutely love that. And you can tell that based on the questions that they asked during the earnings, as well as some of the recent ratings. So these are some of the ones. There was a couple that came down the pipeline yesterday. Andrew, Jeffrey, and Lance from Truist, Morgan Stanley, and BTIG, $14, $7, and $9 ratings. So I remember back in like early 2022, analysts absolutely hated SoFi. Like they couldn't stand it. And of course, it's direct competition to many of these firms right here. But as of late, a lot of analysts started to see their earnings and they can't ignore it anymore. So I think that's fairly good coming from an investor standpoint to see that even the competition is taking notice on SoFi. With the exception of Wedbush, like I don't know what's up David's ass because, well, for one, he only has a 32% success rating, which isn't good, but somehow Wedbush has something against SoFi. Maybe one of the VPs or something like, I don't know, did wrong to David some way or some other, I don't know. But a $3 price target, this is absolutely crazy. And the only other sell rating that has been coming out was roughly about 3 months ago, Compass Point and Giuliano, who does have a 39% success rating. So once again, analysts are starting to really like SoFi. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I'll start off by going over some of the data points, starting with options. So keep in mind the market's been open about 45 minutes. So $2.78 million in calls being purchased versus 688 in puts. So based on this, people are anticipating for it to continue to trend up. And looking here at the calls, a lot of options so far have been traded. So this is all the volume. It is anticipated to roughly be above $8 by the end of next week. And that's what it's been kind of flirting with today so far, pulling back a little bit with the broader market. But still, no matter what, I think that's a fairly good move for SoFi, kind of correcting it to where it should be after their earnings. Looking at puts, people are anticipating for it to be sub $7.50 by the end of next week. So you kind of have both extremes. I'll give you an overview of the technicals in a second, but starting off, these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market today, over $100,000. So only one above about 1 million, and that was about 2.6. So pretty good stuff when it comes down to that. I'll give you an overview of what some institutions have been doing within Q3. So as you can see, the last reported, I'll just quickly orient to this just to show you. So a lot of the bigger players in the game, such as Blackrock and Vanguard right here, both increased during Q3. So Vanguard 4.27 million and Blackrock 2.3 million. Which is kind of good, not as a big increase as I would have anticipated, but no matter what though, you have to realize during Q3, there was a hell of a lot of fear in the market. So the fact that they did increase what they did, I think that's kind of optimistic. And while I'm on Ortex, I'll give you an overview of what shorts are currently doing. So right now, they're roughly returning about 74,000 shares, 13.31% of the free floats being shorted, 112.23 million shares overall are being shorted, which works out to be about $851.23 million worth of shorts. So the fact that they are returning on a green day shows that it's justified, and obviously they feel it might actually continue to trend up. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. But with all of that, let's talk on some technicals. Right now with it at $7.98, it is right now between this P and this R1. So $8.43 is going to be the next strong resistance, and vice versa, $7.65 is going to be the next line in the sand, the next strong support level. So I do feel that with this gap being fairly large, there's going to be a lot of volatility such as this, but based on just the optimism what was said by Powell yesterday, and just a lot of kick-ass earnings have been coming out, one of which even was SoFi's earnings, I feel like this can easily reach this R2. So just high 8s potentially. I don't know. We'll have to see at that stage to see if it can actually break above that. But looking at this though, some indicators that I like to look at, number of retail investors are getting into SoFi. Stochastic is at 57, very bullish right now. And based on overall on that, it's kind of neutral. So once again, I think there's a lot of optimism, a lot of reasons to buy SoFi, and analysts and institutions realize that, especially what was said during their Q3 earnings. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out if you did buy, sell. What did you do with SoFi as of late? I am very happy to say I did buy that random dip that did happen that dragged it down into the 6s. So I bought at, I think it was $6.90. So I didn't really catch the bottom, but I knew when I saw it, anything below 7, like this was crazy. So I was lucky enough to buy that. I think I bought about 400 or 500 shares. So not as much as a lot of people that I see floating around. Luckily enough, I think some people even bought like 3,000 shares or potentially even more. But regardless, I do feel that based on the last several earnings, it has really set SoFi in the right trajectory that they need to succeed. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And if you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.